Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 7th grade concept of predictions using theoretical probability. This is standard 7.6D in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 6 of the 2023 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we have a deck of cards. We've got 12 letter cards and 16 number cards. Let's draw a visual representation here. I'm going to draw 12 letter cards. Right, so we'll just draw an array here. I'm going to make 3 in a row. I'll make 4 rows. So these are going to be my 12 letter cards. All right, so we'll make that 12. And then I've got 16 number cards. So let's just make a 4x4 on the 16. That's going to be pretty easy. Okay, so we'll do this. And I'm just going to put the number 1 in each of this. This is going to be a nice visual representation because we can actually make a really good estimate of what our answer is simply by drawing a nice representation. So take the time when you're taking a STAAR test, draw a representation. So you can see we've got 16 over here. So how many do I have altogether? Right, let's make that red. Right, I've got 28 altogether. And you notice I'm kind of split right here, but it's not exactly half. Right, I've got a little bit more of my number cards. Right, I've got an extra column of the number cards than I do my letter cards. So a card is pulled from the deck at random and replaced. Now this is important because if we didn't replace the card every time we pulled a card, our total number would go down by 1. Each time it would go 28, 27, 26. But they pull it, they look at it, they put it back. So I'm carrying it out 14 times, and I want a reasonable prediction for the number of times a letter card. We'll look at my letter card. Slightly less than half. So this is less than 1/2. My number cards is slightly greater than 1/2, and visually you can tell, right? So if I'm looking at a letter card, which is over here, then slightly less than half the time I'm going to pull it out. Well, what is half of 14? That's going to equal 7. So mine is slightly less than half. So I'm thinking it needs to be less than 7, but not much less than 7. And so that automatically makes me think I don't like A or D. That's greater than half. And I like that C because 6 is just a little bit less than half. B looks like it's going to be too much less than half, but how do we know for sure? How can we prove this mathematically? Okay, well, let's make a fraction. Okay, how many total letter cards are there? 12. How many total cards are there altogether? If you put them both with letter and number, you got 28. Let's simplify this, right? We can divide by 4. So that's going to be 3/7. Okay, so 3 out of every 7 cards, or 12 out of 28, are going to be your letter cards. Now, how many times am I pulling that out? Okay, pulling this out 14 times. So 3/7 of 14 is really what I'm looking for. So here's what we can do. We can make this multiplication problem. Okay, so we can say 3/7 of 14. Well, we can always make any whole number into a fraction if we just make it over 1, and I can just multiply straight across. So it's going to be 3 times 14 over 7. All right, so what's 3 times 14? It's going to be 12, 42. So that's 42 over 7. And 42 over 7, that's just a fact that we know that equals 6, which does go with this right here. Now, some of you might have seen, oh, you could have simplified. Yeah, it is okay if you go ahead and divide that. 7 goes into 14, right? If you divide both by 7, that's going to be 2, and that's going to be 1. So that's going to leave you with 3 times 2 is 6 over 1, which 6 over 1 just makes 6. So either way, our answer here is going to be C, 6.